Hi friends, good morning all of you. Welcome back. So we started our discussion with the audit reports, then 700, then we went to 701, and we also have seen in the previous session the audit report of Reliance Industries, independent auditors report of Reliance Industries, to understand what is the sequence of the contents they have given. And also we have discussed something about emphasis on matter paragraph, and we need to discuss about other matter paragraph that we'll see later. And also we have seen various things like the contents like title, addressee, the opinion paragraph, and then the basis for the opinion, okay, and then emphasis on matter, and then key audit matter paragraph, all these things. And also I have shown you the quick referencer material of ICAI through which we started learning 701. And also in the Reliance Industries financial statements, if you see, the auditors have clearly given some of the key audit matters. We have read them also in detail. The first one is that additions to property, plant and equipment, which is more than 1 lakh crore rupees, and then investments in joint ventures and subsidiaries, we have seen some 70,000, 80,000 crore rupees in private limited entities, which is the very big risk. What procedures the auditors have done are also given on the right hand side. So all these things we have seen. So to take it further from here, to discuss more, I will start this session with one question. Let me see how many of you can answer. So are you ready to answer one question? In which of the following circumstances, in which of the following circumstances, or circumstance, in which of the following circumstance the auditor is prohibited to include key audit matter paragraph in his audit report? A, when he issued, or simply I'll put unmodified report, then qualified report, then adverse report, then disclaimer of opinion. In which of the cases the auditor is prohibited to include key audit matter paragraph? Very important question. Now tell me the answer. I'm waiting for your answer in the chat box. Tell me the answer. Hello. B, C, D. So everybody is doing guesswork. That is what I understand. Hey, shameless idiots. I asked you yesterday to read 701, that bloody one page in, ICAI book. If you read that one page, you would have given correct answer. Disclaimer of opinion is the correct answer. I'm happy many of you have given correct answer. Disclaimer of opinion is the correct answer. So when the auditor has given disclaimer of opinion, he cannot use CAM. Okay. So you got it? Okay, now here, this area, this area, okay, highlight, put a star mark. However, SCA 709 revised prohibits the auditor from communicating key audit matters when the auditor gives a disclaimer of opinion on financial statements. Full stop. They have given one exception. If it is required by law and regulation, see, any time if something is required by law and regulation, that is always exception. So you really no need to, you don't give much emphasis to this last two lines. Obviously, when it is required by law, when it is required by regulation, we'll give. But in general, because see, this is standard and auditing, correct? Standard and auditing cannot supersede law, isn't it? You tell me, can standard and auditing supersede law? Guys, you tell me, can standard on auditing supersede law? Can standard on auditing supersede regulatory authority? Can standard on auditing supersede rules and regulations framed by central government or any other authority? No. That is what last two lines is. Now you tell me, can accounting standard supersede schedule 3? Can accounting standard supersede schedule 3? Can Ind AS supersede schedule 3? So if there is a conflict between Ind AS and Companies Act schedule 3, which prevails? You tell me. Ind AS prevails or Companies Act schedule 3 prevails? If there is any conflict between Ind AS and schedule 3, which prevails? Adarsh is saying schedule 3, Ashita is saying schedule 3. Schedule 3, schedule 3, schedule 3, schedule 3. Guys, someone's mic is making noise. Please keep all your Zoom call in mute. Everybody is saying schedule 3. Beta, galat hai, wrong answer. It is Ind AS. Ind AS prevails over schedule 3. Okay, read schedule 3, read introduction to accounting standards. You'll understand. Okay, or don't worry, your FR lecturer will take care of that. So, guys, do you understand this particular para? Prohibition of giving CAM. When you disclaim opinion, you cannot give CAM. Is this clear? Now, this standard on auditing applies in case of audit of listed entities. Circumstances when the auditor otherwise decides to communicate key audit matters in his audit report. That means auditor's discretion. So you are conducting audit of a public limited company, but which is not a listed company. It is a public limited company but unlisted company, or it is a private company. When you have conducted audit as an auditor, you felt like this should be given as CAM irrespective of the fact that the entity is not a listed entity. You can give 701 para in your audit report. Second case. Third case, if it is required by law or regulation, obviously this will come everywhere. So these 3 bullet points you understand. Guys, please tell me these 3 bullet points. Applicability of essay. Do you understand? Applicability of essay. Anything can be converted into MCQ. You should be very careful. ICAI can convert this into MCQ. In which of the following circumstances SCA 701 apply? A. Listed entity. B. Circumstances when the auditor otherwise decides to communicate CAMs. C. Required by law or regulation. D. All of the above. Okay, if this is the question, you need to put what is the answer? A, D. So many people will say listed entity. But you tell me what is the correct answer. A, B, C, D I have given. You tell me what is the correct answer. That's all. Super. So shall we move on? Shall we move on? So Adarsh, can you turn your mic on and say hi? Hi Adarsh, how are you?
Thanks, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. Your voice is little low. Please speak little louder. Keep mic near to your mouth. And can you read this introduction, applicability of SA 701? Or wait 1 second. We'll start from the beginning. Okay, we'll start from the beginning. This is the starting of SA 701. Start.
Is it audible now?
Yes.
SA 701. Communicating key audit matters in the independent auditor's report.
Okay.
Objective: to enhance the communicative value of the auditor's report by providing greater transparency about the audit that was performed. To assist the user in understanding those matters that, in the auditor's professional judgment, were of most significance in the audit of the financial statements of the current period.
So this objective is not that important. Single reading. Once read it and skip. That's all. Then definition, put a star mark, important. Scope, put a star mark, important. Read.
Definition of key audit matters. Key audit matters are those matters that, in the auditor's professional judgment, were of most significance in the audit of the financial statements of the current period. Key audit matters are selected from matters communicated with those charged with governance. So
tell me three key words or phrases. 3 key words or phrases to be underlined. Already yesterday I told you. Again I am asking you 3 words or phrases to be underlined. Tell me. 1. Auditor's professional judgment. Underline 1. Underline, write down above it 1. Remember keywords. Remember keywords. That is crucial for getting more marks in audit. Audit is all about terminology, vocabulary, and uses of right words in the exam. If you do not carry the flavor of auditing, you will get 60 marks. If you carry the flavor of auditing, same answer, you will get 90 marks. Trust me. So, underline auditor's professional judgment. 1. 2. Underline most significant matters. 2. Most significant matters. 2. Now, you tell me. 3. What is 3? You tell me.
Matters communicated with staff.
Very good. Underline. Matters already communicated with TCWG. Matters already communicated with TCWG. Okay. Now, read the scope. Read the scope, please. Now, tell me one thing. Tell me one thing. Can I say instead of qualifying the report or giving adverse opinion or giving disclaimer of opinion, that means instead of modifying report, can I put one para in key audit matter paragraph and give clean report? Guys, tell me. I have some, information. I have obtained some evidence where I have to modify the report. Now, can I say without modifying report, I will put it in key audit matter paragraph? The answer is no. It is prohibited. So, remember, this key audit matter paragraph is not a substitute for disclosures in financial statements. It is not a substitute for 705. 705 is modifications in audit report. It is not a substitute for SA 570, going concern problems. That is what given here. Read more.
Communicating key audit matters in the auditor's report is not a substitute for disclosures in the financial statements, a substitute for the auditor expressing a modified opinion when required by the circumstances of a specific audit engagement in accordance with SA 705, a substitute for reporting in accordance with SA 570, or a separate opinion on individual matters.
That's all. So after that applicability, we have already seen this. After that, this note also we have already seen. So we are going up. Tan, 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 tan. Do you remember yesterday already I have discussed these 3 points, determining key audit matter paragraph, this ABC. Hello. Do you remember yesterday we have completed these 3 boxes? Yes, very good. I'm happy. Now, communicating key audit matters. Put a star mark. This is also important. The introductory language in this section of the auditor's report shall state that A. Key audit matters are those matters that, in the auditor's professional judgment, were of most significance in the audit of financial statements of the current period. This we have already 3-4 times seen. Then, these matters were addressed in the context of the audit of financial statements as a whole and in forming the auditor's opinion thereon, and the auditor, underline, as a whole, underline, auditor does not provide separate opinion on these matters. Yesterday, do you remember when I am showing you Reliance Industries audit report, I have identified A, opening, B, closing. This too shall remain same. They might ask you in the exam to draft CAM. A should be there, B should be there. In between, you write the matter. You remember that. Congratulations, 701 is over. That's all. Okay, this is the key area. But you need to open ICAI original study material also. In that, 71 pages or 75 pages of notes is there for all the standards put together. 700, 701, 705, then this 706, all put together. There, you don't need to thoroughly read the whole ICAI study material. Single reading for your academic interest. Single reading. Do all the pages single reading. But what is most important thing? Illustrations, examples, questions and answers. At the end, they'll give you practical practice questions, that and MCQs. These are very important. That is your practice. Okay, so shall we go to SCA 705 or shall we go to this 700 we started? No, some basics are there in 700. We'll complete 700 and then we'll go to 705 today. Hello. Do you remember we have done this up to this area? So this, if you remember, this title done, addressee done, auditor's opinion done, basis of opinion done, going concern done. Going concern we'll discuss once again. Okay, key audit matters done, responsibilities for financial statements. Now general knowledge question: who is responsible for preparing financial statements? A, management. B, auditor. Seriously, this is one question. Okay, so obviously it is management, right? Okay, now you tell me how financial statements are to be prepared. How financial statements are to be prepared. Okay, I need one single answer. A. Schedule 3, wrong answer. Correct. Susan, your answer is right. Applicable financial reporting framework. So if you say Schedule 3 applies only to companies, right? What about banks? What about insurance companies? What about electricity generation companies? What about, other entities? Say, for example, NBFC. So every set of entities have different proformas, different accounting rules, different principles, different applicable law and regulation. For example, if you look at NBFC, more than accounting standards or the schedules, they have to give more weight to RBI guidelines and norms, isn't it? Provisioning is more important. Income recognition is more important. Prudential norms is more important. Yes or no? So these are the things to be considered. Applicable financial reporting framework. So can you read this, mom? Responsibilities for the financial statements. Read this.
A. Preparing the financial statements in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework, and for such internal control as management determines is necessary to enable the preparation of financial statements that are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error.
So before reading this A, you should read this sentence so that you understand what is A and B. This section of the auditor's report, what is this? I am putting one heading in my audit report: responsibilities for the financial statements. In my audit report, I am putting one heading: responsibilities for the financial statements. Why? Simple. A layman who's not from accounting background, who's not having any idea about audits, a layman, when he opens financial statements, so balance sheet is there, P&L is there, below that one stamp is there, signature is there for ABC and company chartered accountants, Pavan Kumar, partner, sign and stamp. He might come to a conclusion that, oh, this balance sheet is prepared by Pavan Kumar. The auditor has to clearly tell, hello, wait, that is misunderstanding. I have not prepared balance sheet P&L. I will tell you what management is responsible for, and I will tell you what I am responsible for. That is the reason in audit report, two sections are there. One section is responsibilities of management. Another section is responsibilities of auditor. So in this section, auditors are explaining what management is liable for. One, management is responsible for preparing financial statements as per applicable financial reporting framework. Two, management is responsible for designing and implementation of appropriate internal controls. That too I told in A. Now I am extending management responsibilities to B. I am extending going concern. Whose responsibility it is to verify whether the entity is a going concern or no? You tell me. Hello, you tell me whose responsibility it is to check whether the management is a going concern or not. Answer in the chat. Is it management responsibility or auditor? Correct. Management responsibility. Very good. Read B point, ma.
Assessing the entity's ability to continue as a going concern and whether the use of going concern basis of accounting is appropriate, as well as disclosing, if applicable, matters relating to going concern. The explanation of management's responsibility for this assessment shall include a description of when the use of going concern basis of accounting is appropriate.
Obviously. So this is the one. Now, para number 7, we discussed about what? The responsibilities of management. In para number 8, we discuss auditor's responsibilities. Now you tell me, because you are in final level, already you might have seen all these basic things in CA intermediate. I do not want to waste time. So quickly I'll ask you, you tell me, being the auditor, is it my responsibility to obtain reasonable assurance or absolute assurance? You tell me. So shall we obtain reasonable assurance or absolute assurance? Reason. Very good. Put the heading. Put the heading SCA 700. Under that, 1. 7th para. 7th para. Responsibilities of management. Okay, tell me the keywords. Hello. What should I write? A. Preparation of financial statements in accordance with, shall I write accounting standards or shall I write schedule 3? You tell me. Very good. Applicable financial reporting framework. B. Internal controls on financial reporting. C. Going concern, assessment, related disclosures, etc. These 3 are responsibilities. 8th para. Auditor's responsibility. A. Obtain reasonable assurance. Okay, under that write down. Under that write down. Note. An absolute assurance can't be obtained due to dash. You tell me. Why can't I obtain absolute assurance? Hello? Tell me. Why can't I obtain absolute assurance? I want answer from you. No response. Very good. Inherent limitations of audit. Absolute assurance cannot be obtained due to inherent limitations. Correct, Archana? Due to inherent limitations of audit. Correct. Okay, now a reasonable assurance is a high degree assurance, a positive assurance, a low degree assurance, or wait, both the above. A low degree assurance. An absolute, a reasonable assurance is A, high degree assurance, B, a positive assurance, C, both the above, A and B, and D, a low assurance. Tell me. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So many wrong answers I have received. It is C, both the above. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, write down. There are 4 levels of assurance, and they are: A, absolute assurance, can't be given in audits. Don't expect absolute assurance in audits. Sorry, I cannot give absolute assurance. Be reasonable assurance. A high degree and positive assurance. See, limited assurance. A low degree and negative assurance. No assurance. No assurance. Okay, now you tell me when A can be given. When A can be given, never give any absolute assurance to anyone. Courtesy ICI. Never give absolute assurance to anyone. Okay, so you tell me when reasonable assurance can be given in audits. Reasonable assurance can be given in audits. Now you tell me, being the CA final student doing so many audits, you tell me when will you give limited assurance? Hello? Any answer? No. Disclaimer, qualified. Rizan is saying Mr. Ali qualified. One guy is saying disclaimer of opinion. Ashita is saying never give. Seriously, dude, bring one knife and kill me, no? Ray, wait. I'll tell you. Shall I tell, or you keep on telling nonsense? It is done in reviews. That means interim financial statements of listed companies. Listed companies will prepare quarterly financial statements, half-yearly financial statements, which need not be audited, but they are to be reviewed. Need not be audited, but they are to be reviewed. So the extent of verification, the level of checking involved in review will be much lower than that of the audits, though in both audit and review we use the same techniques. Auditing techniques, whatever I use the same thing for review also. But the extent of verification will be different. And the most important difference between audits and reviews is, in audits we do tests of controls. In limited engagements, in reviews, we will not perform tests of controls. So review is normally limited to inquiring the management and test checking. What is that? Inquiring the management and test checking. That means super se, from above we'll see. So we'll not penetrate deep into the accounts. Because there is a statutory time period given by that stock exchanges, that after completion of quarter, within so and so dates, you need to publish it. There is a time constraint. So if you need to conduct audit, it is one, very costly, two, it is very time consuming. Lot of effort is to be put. That is the reason for quarterly or half yearly financial statements, which we call interim financial statements, you will do only review. So obviously the wordings in audit and the wordings in review, when I am giving audit report, they differ. Okay, what is that, you know? In audits, why it is called positive? Why it is called positive? Why it is called positive assurance? Because we use this word. We have conducted the audit of financial statements of XYZ entity, and the financial statements are showing true and fair view. Ta-da! That means there are no material misstatements in financial statements. So these are positive words. Here we have conducted the review of interim financial statements of ABC entity and nothing came to our notice. Nothing came to our notice to conclude that the financial statements are not showing true and fair view. This is why we call it a negative assurance. The wording, so many people, they do not understand the language. When you understand the meaning, then you understand what is limited assurance, what is absolute assurance, what is reasonable assurance. You need to, do a lot of work. You need to have a lot of experience. Then you understand, oh, this is the reason in ICI study material, somewhere they use positive assurance, somewhere they use negative assurance. People do not understand. So now you understand why it is called positive assurance, why this one is called negative assurance. So in first one, here you are saying Rama is a good boy. In second one, you are saying nothing came to my notice to say Rama is a bad boy. Having said that, I am not saying Rama is a good boy. So it is the difference between Mr. A doesn't smoke. First sentence. Second sentence, I have never seen Mr. A smoke, so I think he doesn't smoke. So there is a huge difference. Hello? You understand what I said? Can we proceed further? Can we move on? Okay. Next, what is no assurance? No assurance means it is not an assurance engagement. It is other than assurance engagement. So I, as an auditor or as a professional, as a chartered accountant, as a practitioner, I have done something that is not an assurance engagement. For example, compilation engagement. What is compilation engagement? It refers to accounting work, preparation of books of account or financial statements. Now you tell me, as a practicing CA, Pavan Kumar, as a practicing CA, can I involve in accounting work of X Limited? X Limited called me and asked me, Pavan sir, are you a chartered accountant? I said yes. Pavan sir, you have COP also? I said yes. Pavan sir, you know how to pass journal entries? Pavan sir, you know IFRS also? Pavan sir, can you prepare our books of account? Pavan sir, can you prepare our financial statement? Pavan sir, we'll give you 5 lakh rupees. Can you do this? Yes. Swati is saying, no, you cannot do. Why? Why I cannot do? So you don't want me earning money? Poor guy, no money. If I do this work and get little money, what is your problem? Huh? Why I cannot do? Now one Chambu will say, section 144 prohibited. So is it a prohibited service? Accounting work, preparation of financial statements. Is it a prohibited service? Idiots, try to understand. I am not supposed to involve in internal audits, designing internal controls, maintaining books of accounts, preparing financial statements if X Limited is my auditee client. For my auditee client, where I am working as statutory auditor, then I am not supposed to do this. But otherwise, some random company comes to me and asks, sir, please maintain our books of account. Happily I can. Some other guy will audit. I am not the auditor. Come on. You understand? Or otherwise, some other examples also I can give you. Stock consumption certificate. When I am giving stock consumption certificate, in this factory, this much of stock is consumed during this period. Where is the assurance in that? Where is the opinion in that? There is no opinion. These are called non-assurance services. Generally, consultancy services are non-assurance services. Generally, consultancy services are non-assurance services. Hello, is this clear? Can we go back? Can we both go back to SA 700? Hello. Hello. So now here, this section of the audit report, the auditor's report shall include a section with the heading Auditor's Responsibilities for Audit of Financial Statements. Okay. This section of the audit report shall A, B, C. A, B, C. A, B, C. What is A? Obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatements due to fraud or error. In this, you tell me what is the keyword you want to underline. You tell me what is the keyword you want to underline. I don't know. You tell me. No, it is not reasonable assurance. Underline as a whole. Put it in bracket. It is not misstatements. It is not fraud error. It is not reasonable assurance. The most important one is as a whole. I'll tell you what is the meaning of as a whole. I'll tell you after some time. I'll tell you. As a whole. Put it in box. Now, B, state that reasonable assurance is a high level assurance but is not a guarantee that an audit conducted in accordance with SA will always detect a material misstatement when it exists. Obviously, you learned this in CA Inter also. C, state that misstatements can arise from frauds or errors and either describe that they are considered material if individually or in aggregate they could reasonably be expected to influence the economic decisions of users taken on the basis of these financial statements, or provide a definition or a description of materiality in accordance with applicable financial reporting framework. What is this? What is this? In so many places you use the word material. So what is materiality? What is material item? User of financial statement may not know. So ICA is asking you, dear Pawan, do you know what is materiality? Yes, sir. Are you giving audit report? Yes, sir. Then explain. Explain what is the situation where an item is considered material individually or in aggregate. Overall materiality, individual item materiality. Please explain that. Okay, sir. That's all. Then go to part 2. Part 2. I am not going to read anything here. I will shut my mouth. Zip. I am not going to talk. I'll give you 30 seconds of time. 30 seconds. You need to complete this whole diagram. You need to complete this whole diagram. Para 2. This whole diagram you need to complete. And then in the chat box say done, because it is CA intermediate level. Already you might have seen this so many times. Hello. Are you sleeping? Yes, sir. So any doubts in this para? or can I move to third part? If you do not have doubts in second part, if you want me to go to third part, type 3. In the chat box, type 3. If you have doubts, then we'll discuss. If you say 3, we'll go to third para. Very good. Very, very good. Rambabu, read this. Hello, we have one speaker today, no?
Yes, sir.
Read.
The third one.
Yes.
The auditor's responsibilities for the audit of the financial statements section of the auditor's report also shall A. State that the auditor communicates with those charged with governance regarding, among other matters, the planned scope and timing of the audit, significant auditing findings, including any significant deficiencies in internal control that the auditor identifies during the audit.
So some standard and auditing is involved here. Which one is that? Hello, any idea, guys? Which standard is involved here? A. SCA 220, B. SCA 500, C. SA 700, D. SA 260 and 265. Which one is correct? 265, 260, correct. Yes, correct. That we'll see later also. But here what I'm saying, see, always do this role play, visualization. Always do this role play, visualization. I am auditor of this company. There is one shareholder. I am communicating I am communicating to shareholder. What I am communicating to shareholder? Dear shareholder, I'll tell you one thing, okay? Now shareholder is saying, bol, what you want to tell? That company I have conducted audit, no? Yes. They have 10 branches, okay, I know. That company's board of directors are sitting in Delhi, okay? I have conducted audit in Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Bangalore, Cochin, in all the places I have conducted audit. Okay. Tell what you want to tell straight. Then auditor is saying, listen, when I am conducting audit, to what extent I am supposed to conduct audit? What are the areas to be included in the audit? When I have conducted audit, what are the significant audit findings? When I have conducted audit, whatever the deficiencies in internal control are there, which I believe significant, all these things were already communicated by me to those charged with governance. My scope of the audit, my timing of the audit, my significant audit findings, my findings of significant deficiencies in internal controls, everything is communicated to those charged with governance. There is no secret. There is no secret. Everything is transparent. I cannot give you 2000-page audit report. That is the reason I am giving you 5-page audit report. But remaining 1000 pages or 2000 pages, whatever I have to communicate to them, I have communicated. There is no hide and seek game. That is what this is. Then, as an auditor, I should also communicate to those charged with governance about ethical requirements, independence. I need to give in writing. In writing, I need to give to those charged with governance that, sir, X Limited, where you are those charged with governance, where you are board of directors, X Limited proposed to appoint me. Now I am giving you in writing that I am not compromising on the independence. I am complying with all the ethical requirements. I do not have any relationship with your key managerial personnel, or I do not have any substantial interest in your company. I do not have any financial interest in your company. I do not have any business interest in your company. So this I need to give in writing. And if at all there is any question of independence due to some threat, there are applicable safeguards which I have already applied. So now I am ethically fit to conduct audit. So second one is proving your fitness. To play a game, you need to prove your fitness. So to conduct audit, you need to prove your fitness. What is your fitness? Skills and competence that already you have. ICI has given you certificate that you are a chartered accountant. Now, second part is professional. That's all. Read me.
We state that the auditor provides those charged with governance with a statement that the auditor has complied with relevant ethical requirements regarding independence and communicate with them all relationships and other matters that may reasonably be brought to bear on the auditor's independence and where applicable related safeguards.
That's all. C is about SS 701, which already we have covered. Okay, so are we done with the third point A, B, C? Can we move further? Location of description of auditor's responsibilities for the audit of financial statements. 1. See, we are speaking about the para. There is one para. What is that? Auditor's responsibilities. Where I need to give that they have given in ABC, not that important. Just single reading you can do later. Not that important. Anyway, we'll give that within audit report only. Okay, now other reporting responsibilities. Ta-da! Put a star mark. Other reporting responsibilities. Do you remember in Companies Act, other matters in section 143? Other matters to be reported. So there are so many other matters to be reported. One example I'll tell you. Amounts transferred to Investor Education and Protection Fund. Another one I'll tell you. Significant claims on the company which are not at acknowledged as debts. Another one I'll tell you. There are only 3 matters, okay? All the 3 I told you. Third one is provision for losses on long-term contracts, including derivative contracts. These 3 are the other reporting responsibilities that will come in company audit anyway. While discussing company audit, you will come to know thoroughly about that. Okay, then signature of the audit report. Who has to sign the audit report? Obviously, auditor. Okay, now I'll ask you one practical question. Are you ready? Okay. A, B, C, D, and E are partners in A and Co CA firm. A, B, C are CAP. What is CAP? CAP means chartered accountant in practice. Oh my God. A, B, C are chartered accountants in practice. D is a cost accountant. E is a company secretary. Now tell me, this cost accountants, company secretaries, can they be partners in a CA firm? Cost accountants, company secretaries, can they be partners in CA firm? The answer is yes. Now yes. After Companies Act 2013, first in 2006 in Companies Act, in Chartered Accountants Act, they made changes. After that, in Companies Act 2013, they made changes. Now, multidisciplinary firms are possible. Multidisciplinary firms are possible. Now, when you are conducting audit of X Limited, who has to sign? Tell me. On behalf of A and company, normally, if you follow Partnership Act, any person can sign. So now tell me, can D or E sign on the audit report of X Limited? The answer is no. Only A, B or C shall sign. Only a chartered accountant in practice shall sign. And you might have seen so many audit reports, how they sign and all. Also you might have seen that UDIN guidelines also you might have gone through, and how you need to put the name of the engagement partner who is signing. After that you need to give the membership number. After that you need to give firm membership number. All these things are already there. I am sure you know that. This is the signature, and then place of the report, and then date you need to give. That's all. Signature, place, date. Okay, in all the audit reports you will see this. That's all. Okay, now let us go and discuss something about types of audit report. 705. types of audit reports, or we'll do one thing. 705 is a new standard. Before we start the new standard, 706, emphasis on matter paragraph, other matter paragraph, something we have done yesterday. Emphasis on matter paragraph we have done yesterday. So now shall we see the other matter paragraph, complete that standard and then move further, because already we have started something. Hello, shall we see emphasis on matter paragraph, other matter paragraph first? Once we complete that, then we'll go to this types of audit report. Seven not six. Okay. First, let us read these definitions. Swati Krishna, can you read this emphasis on matter paragraph definition, ma?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Ma'am, hello.
Sorry, sir.
Don't change the gender. From today till the end of the classes, I will call you boy. Read.
Definition: emphasis of matter paragraph. A paragraph included in the auditor's report that refers to a matter appropriately presented or disclosed in the financial statement that, in the auditor's judgment, is of such importance that it is fundamental to users understanding the financial statement.
I'll give you 10 seconds of time to all of you. Read this definition 3 times. 3 times. Very important. Okay, now tell me the keywords. All of you. Tell me the keywords. Type the keywords in the chat box. So guys, I gave you time to read this emphasis of matter paragraph. Okay, and I asked you what are the keywords you have identified. Now let us see. Put the heading in your notebook. Put the heading SA706. SA706. From that 2 arrow marks down. SA706. From that 2 arrow marks down. Left side write down emphasis on matter paragraph. Right side write down other matter paragraph. So I prefer you not using this kind of EOM OM. You have to write everything in full. Only for classroom discussion we are using this language. EOM OM language only for classroom discussion we are using. Normally you are not supposed to use this kind of words. In the exam also you need to write it completely. EOM OM you need to write it completely. Emphasis on matter paragraph, other matter paragraph. Okay, now let us try to develop a chart. Okay. A matter, here write down, a matter is already presented and disclosed. How it is presented and disclosed? Do I have any problem in the way how it is presented and disclosed? No, this is presented and disclosed appropriately. A matter is already presented and disclosed appropriately. A matter is already presented and disclosed appropriately. Where it is presented and disclosed appropriately? In financial statements. Where it is appropriately disclosed and presented? In financial statements. In financial statements, put it in a box. This is the highlight. It is already given in the financial statement. That means if something is not in the financial statements, it cannot come in EOM. If something is not in financial statements, it cannot come in EOM. Appropriately presented or disclosed in financial statements. Now, auditor feels that this matter is there, no? This matter connect it here. This matter in auditor's judgment. In auditor's judgment, this matter is important. This matter is important. This matter is important and fundamental, important and fundamental to the user's understanding of financial statements. Fundamental to the user's understanding of financial statements. This is the definition. Now look here, when you go from left hand side to right hand side, when you go from EOM to OM, here what is given? Fundamental to the user's understanding of financial statements. This will be replaced. When you go to the other side, it will become fundamental to the user's understanding of audit and auditor responsibilities. Emphasis on matter paragraph is for fundamental to the user's understanding of financial statements. Here in other matter paragraph, it will be fundamental to the user's understanding of audit and auditor's responsibilities. It will be replaced with audit and auditor's responsibilities. Example I tell you, with that you understand 100% what is other matter paragraph. More about emphasis on matter paragraph in the previous session we have seen. Now I am conducting audit of, Pawan Kumar is conducting audit of X Limited. X Limited is having company's headquarters and 5 branches. Branch A, branch B, branch C, branch D, branch E. Okay. As the company's central statutory auditor, I have conducted audit of this, 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 but this D and E were audited by some other branch auditor, Mr. Q. Mr. Q has done audit of D and E. Now, the size of D and E in the company is 12.5% approx. So, if the total company's turnover is say 1000 crores, D and E put together is 125 crores. So, the total turnover, the total size of the company is 100, out of which D and E put together is 12.5%. So, as an auditor, I want to communicate to the shareholder that, hello, hey, dear shareholder, suno na, shareholder. I have conducted audit of the company, I told you, no. Yes, sir, you told. In the first line of the audit report itself, you told. We have conducted audit of X Limited for the financial year. You have told that already. But there is a small thing which I want you to know. Now shareholder is asking, Bol, what is that? Tell what is that. Then I am telling the shareholder, company has 5 branches, no? Some of the branches of the company were audited by some other auditor. Some of the branches of the company were audited by some other auditor. We have not verified 100% of company. But the other auditor is also a qualified chartered accountant. Don't worry. But just I wanted to tell you information, fact I want to give you. This will give you better understanding. Oh, Pawan verified 87.5% of entity technically. You understand? This is one matter in other matter paragraph. Another matter in other matter paragraph is another example. Another example. Previous year financial statements were not audited, or previous year financial statements were audited by another auditor and company. This also is one example for other matter paragraph. Now you tell me technically, you might have seen this already. You tell me technically, this is called what? This is called what? For this, ICAI has told you a beautiful technical term. What is this called? Hello, Swati madam, what is this called, madam? You don't know? Hello?
Hello, sir.
You know or you don't know? There is one technical word for this situation. I'll give you one hint also. There is a separate standard in auditing for this. Initial engagements and opening balances. Initial engagements. You remember where the financial statements of the previous year were not audited, where the previous year financial statements were audited by another auditor. This also should be given in other matter paragraph. Yet another example I'll give you. I am conducting audit of Infosys. Infosys prepared for 2020-21. How many balance sheets they'll prepare, ma? For 2020-21, how many balance sheets they'll prepare? Or 2021-22, how many balance sheets they'll prepare? One. No, they prepared 3 balance sheets. Genuine or fraud? They prepared 3 balance sheets. One balance sheet is in compliance with Ind AS, one balance sheet is with IFRS, one balance sheet is with US GAAP. So obviously they have to submit that to, London Stock Exchange and US New York Stock Exchanges also, no, because they are listed there also. So when you are listed in another country, do you think BSE or NSE or SEBI will accept if some foreign company is submitting financial statements in terms of IFRS, in terms of dollars? No, they will say prepare this in accordance with our regulatory framework and give it to us. So obviously if Microsoft is submitting any document to SEBI, they will prepare that in rupees, they will prepare that as per Indian accounting standards. Yes or no? Hello guys, all of you, are you following me? Are you understanding what I am saying? So in this situation, Infosys appointed Pawan Kumar to be the auditor. Infosys appointed Pawan Kumar to be the auditor. And Pawan has conducted audit of this only. Pawan has not conducted audit of this. He has not conducted audit of this. Because there are other auditors who are doing that audit. So they might have appointed different people for that. So now I wanted to communicate to shareholders that Infosys is preparing financial statements based on different financial reporting frameworks. Out of that, Indian financial reporting framework wala financial statements were only audited by me. Other matter paragraph. Now you tell me, to tell these kind of examples and understanding a standard in this level, how much of practical exposure you should have? So examples are also unfortunately not clearly given in our ICI book. I strongly believe as a lecturer, see, something is in your textbook printed in English, okay? I am also teaching in English. So if I take one English and if I am translating that into a normally, humanly understandable, easy, simple English, and if I am explaining what is there in the book, the lecturer is useless, I am telling you. So I am not criticizing anyone, but what I am saying is, there is some text in the textbook. If the same thing is explained to you, why do you need a lecturer? You can sit at home and you can read also, no? Keep one dictionary, you can sit at home and you can read and you can try to understand. Nothing great in that. But especially for practical papers like auditing and law or FR for that matter. So when a person with a lot of practical exposure is giving you insights in a different dimension, then it will enhance your interest in the subject also and your understanding also. When you open auditing textbook, you should not feel like that. Should not be the expression. When you open auditing textbook, some interest should be there. That interest factor will come from understanding only. You understand? So for this other matter paragraph, I have given you 3-4 examples now. Do you understand this? And there can be another example also. For example, one entity audit I have to do as per standards on auditing and as per international standards on auditing. So X Limited appointed me and X Limited asked, Pawan sir, you need to do audit as per international standards on auditing. I asked them why. They said, we are submitting this to Sequoia Capital in Singapore. So one venture capital fund in Singapore is asking audit report and they are insisting that the audit should be done as per international standards on audit. Possible. So I have conducted audit as per international standards on audit. Or I have conducted audit as per SA and as per ISA also. So don't you think this should be given in other matter paragraph? In all the examples I told you, I have not conducted some of the branch audits. These branches were audited by some other guy. I have not conducted audit of the previous year financial statements. And I have conducted audit of one financial reporting framework. I have conducted audit of one auditing framework. So don't you think these disclosures, these reporting paragraphs by the auditor is enhancing the user's understanding of audit and auditor responsibilities? That is other matter paragraph. So now if you read this other matter paragraph, look here, a paragraph included in the auditor's report refers to a matter other than those presented or disclosed in financial statements. So you have seen all these examples. Nothing is mentioned in financial statements because it is not accounting matter. It is something different. So EOM must come from financial statements. A reference to financial statements, so and so note. Other matter paragraph cannot come from financial statements other than those that are disclosed or presented in financial statements. In the auditor's judgment, they are relevant to users' understanding of audit and auditor's responsibilities. Now you tell me, do you understand EOM and OM? That's all. This is simple one-page standard. That's all. With this, it is over. And they have explained, see, here they have given you 2 bullet points and they have explained that in 2 paras. This para is emphasis of matter, this para is other matter paragraph. But you need to mention it clearly. This yesterday we have seen in Reliance report also. When you emphasize a matter, at the end of emphasis matter paragraph, one note point you need to give. What is that? We are not modifying our report on this matter. This is just emphasized for your attention. We are not modifying our report. You understand? Now open this. You have started one chart. You have started one chart now. Okay, now go to the chart, go to the right hand side, other matter paragraph. This right hand side, other matter paragraph, arrow mark down. Other matter paragraph, arrow mark down. And there write down They write down a matter other than presented and disclosed in financial statements. Write down a matter other than presented and disclosed in financial statements. A matter other than presented and disclosed in financial statements. A matter other than presented and disclosed in financial statements. Again, arrow mark down. In the auditor's judgment, it is relevant to users' understanding of. It is relevant to users' understanding of. It is relevant to users' understanding of. Next line, A, the audit. B, the auditor's responsibilities. C, the auditor's report. Understanding of A, the audit. B, the auditor's responsibilities. C, the audit report. So, emphasis on matter paragraph helps in enhancing, increasing the user's understanding of financial statements. Other matter paragraph will enhance the user's understanding of audit, auditor's responsibility, audit report. Now you tell me, do you understand 706? Hello. Okay, you understand 706? Okay, so I need Guru Dakshina. Have you heard this word anytime? Guys, have you heard this word anytime? Guru Dakshina. What is the meaning of it? Sir, already we paid fees now, sir. No, I am not speaking about fee. Fee is different. Okay, Guru Dakshina today is, I'll give you two options. Option A, I will give you my Google Pay and you transfer 1000 rupees. This is option A. Option B also I'll give you. Option B is read 5 other matter paragraphs from different audit reports. Download various audit reports. Okay, download various audit reports from internet. Infosys audit report, like that. Okay, this is 1 point for you. Then read 5 emphasis on matter paragraphs from different audit reports. Read SA 701 from ICAI main study material, not from this condensed study, main study material. Read illustrations and practice problems on SA 701 from ICAI textbook. So you have two options. Option 1, I'll give you my Google Pay number, you can transfer 1000 rupees. Option B, this. So what will you do? Option A, if you do, I'll kill you because I have enough money. Okay. Okay, do you think I'm a poor guy in need of some money? So daily, please spend 30 minutes of time after class. Okay. For my class, 30 minutes of time. If you are attending any other lecturer's subject, for that another 30 minutes you need to invest. 30 minutes you need to spend. If you do these activities, my friends, I am telling you, happily you can go with peace of mind to the exam. to the exam when you are going, peace of mind. If you do not spend it 30 minutes every day, no, you will go with exam with the pieces of mind. So you want to go to exam with the peace of mind, or you want to go to exam with the pieces of mind? Sir, pieces is more than piece, no sir. So plural, so we'll go with the pieces, sir. Congratulations to you. So any doubts?